Hey there, beautiful souls. You know that feeling when something just feels off about someone? Like they're wearing a mask, and underneath, there's something darker lurking. We've all been there, right? Today, we're diving deep into those red flags that scream danger, the kind that your gut feeling catches before your mind does. And trust me, by the end of this, you'll be a pro at spotting these emotional vampires from a mile away. So grab your coffee, get comfortable, and let's talk about those people who might be secretly plotting your downfall. First up, let's talk about those pain cheerleaders. You know the type, they're suspiciously happy when you're down. I had this friend, let's call her Jessica. She was always too busy to grab coffee when things were going great in my life. But the moment I posted about losing my job, boom! 3 missed calls and a dozen messages. Oh my God, are you okay? Tell me everything. And here's the crazy part, there was this weird excitement in her voice. Like she was ordering her favorite dessert at a restaurant. At first, I thought, wow, she really cares. But then I started noticing a pattern. When I got promoted, radio silence. When I started dating someone amazing, oh, that's nice. But when that relationship hit a rough patch, suddenly she had all the time in the world to support me. She'd say things like, I knew this would happen, or, men are all the same. With this little smirk that made my skin crawl. These people feed off your pain like emotional vampires. They need your struggles to feel better about their own lives. It's like they're collecting your tears in a jar, saving them for their rainy days. And here's the thing, they're masters of disguise. They'll act like your biggest supporter, your shoulder to cry on. But watch their eyes when you share bad news. There's this tiny flicker of joy they can't hide. I remember when I finally confronted Jessica about this. Why do you only show up when things go wrong? I asked. Her response. I just care about you more when you're hurting. Excuse me, what? That's not how real friendship works, honey. Real friends are there for the highs and the lows. They don't pick and choose based on your misery index. Let's talk about the secret keeper mind games next. These people are like emotional blackmail artists. They collect your vulnerabilities like they're rare Pokemon cards. I had this coworker, Mark, who seemed so trustworthy at first. You know the type, great listener, always available for coffee breaks. He had this way of making you feel safe enough to open up. So naturally, I shared things with him. Personal stuff about my family, my insecurities, my fears. Things we all have but don't broadcast to the world. Everything was fine until we had a disagreement at work. Suddenly, those private conversations became ammunition. He'd make these subtle references to my insecurities during meetings. Oh, careful with that project. We know how you struggle with confidence. When I called him out, he'd hit me with the classic. I was just joking. Why are you so sensitive? But here's what I learned, it's never just a joke. It's a power play, pure and simple. They store your secrets like weapons in their arsenal. Waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And when they do, they make it seem like you're overreacting. Like you're the crazy one for being upset. That's gaslighting 101, folks. These people aren't your diary, they're a loaded gun. And they'll pull the trigger the moment it serves their purpose. The worst part? They make you doubt yourself. You start thinking, maybe I am too sensitive. Maybe I shouldn't have shared that. Maybe it's my fault for trusting them. Stop right there. You're not too sensitive. You're not wrong for trusting. They're wrong for betraying that trust. Here's a pro tip, test people with small secrets first. Watch how they handle minor confidences. Do they keep them to themselves? Or do they spread them around like gossip? That's your indicator of how they'll handle the big stuff. Because here's the truth about these emotional manipulators. They don't change. They don't suddenly develop a conscience. They don't wake up one day and decide to be trustworthy. If they've used your secrets against you once, they'll do it again. And again. And again. Until you finally say, enough. Speaking of enough, let's talk about the joy killers. These people are like dark clouds on a sunny day. They can't stand to see anyone happy. Especially not you. I had this friend, let's call her Rachel. She was the queen of the, yeah, but response. Me, I just got my dream job. Rachel, yeah, but the economy's probably going to crash soon. Me, I'm getting married. Rachel, yeah, but did you know the divorce rate is 50%? It's like they have a PhD in rain on your parade studies. They're not just pessimistic, they're strategic about it. They wait for your highest moments. Your proudest achievements. Your happiest celebrations. Then they swoop in with their negativity bombs. And suddenly, your joy feels tainted. Like someone put a drop of ink in a glass of clear water. You can still see through it, but it's not quite the same. These people aren't just having a bad day. They're not just keeping it real. They're actively trying to dim your light. Because your happiness reminds them of their own unhappiness. Your success makes them feel like failures. Your joy highlights their misery. So instead of working on themselves, instead of dealing with their own issues, they try to drag you down to their level. It's easier than lifting themselves up. But here's what you need to remember. Your happiness is not their property. Your joy is not subject to their approval. Your success is not up for their review. You don't need their permission to celebrate. You don't need their validation to feel good. And you definitely don't need their negativity in your life. Because life's too short to let someone else control your happiness. It's too precious to let someone else decide when you can shine. And it's too beautiful to spend it around people who can't celebrate with you. So the next time someone tries to kill your joy, remember this. Their reaction says more about them than it does about you. Their inability to celebrate your happiness is their problem. Not yours. Their need to diminish your achievements is their insecurity. Not your reality. Their constant negativity is their burden. Not your responsibility. You deserve people who light up when you succeed. Who cheer louder than you do at your victories. Who celebrate your joy as if it were their own. Because that's what real friends do. That's what healthy relationships look like. That's what you deserve. And anything less is just not worth your time. So here's your homework. Pay attention to how people react to your good news. Watch their faces when you share your achievements. Listen to their words when you're celebrating. The ones who can't be happy for you. They don't deserve front row seats to your success. Keep them in the nosebleed section. Or better yet, don't sell them tickets at all. Your life is your show. And you get to choose your audience. Choose wisely. Choose people who add to your joy, not subtract from it. Choose people who multiply your happiness, not divide it. Choose people who celebrate your light, not try to dim it. Because at the end of the day, your happiness is worth protecting. Your joy is worth guarding. And your peace of mind is worth more than any toxic relationship. Remember, you're not being dramatic. You're not being too sensitive. You're just finally seeing the truth. And sometimes, the truth hurts. But not as much as staying around people who hurt you on purpose. So stand your ground. Protect your joy. And never apologize for shining too bright. Those who belong in your life will wear sunglasses. They won't try to dim your light. Let's talk about those emotional brick walls. You know, the ones who have the empathy of a doorknob. I had this experience with someone, let's call him Dave. Picture this, I'm going through the worst breakup of my life. Crying, can't eat, the whole 9 yards. I reach out to Dave, thinking he might understand. His response: "That's rough, buddy. Anyway, did you watch the game last night? Like, seriously? I just poured my heart out, and you're talking about sports." But here's the thing about people like Dave. It's not that they don't understand emotions. They just don't care about anyone else's. Watch how quickly they change when they need support. Suddenly, they're emotional poets. Writing paragraphs about their feelings. Expecting everyone to drop everything and comfort them. The hypocrisy is almost laughable. Almost. These people are dangerous in a special way. Because they can fake normal human responses. They've learned to say, "I'm sorry," at the right moments. To nod their heads when someone's crying. But there's nothing behind their eyes. No real connection. No genuine empathy. They're just going through the motions. Like actors in a play they don't care about. And here's the scariest part. They can mimic emotional responses perfectly. Until they don't need to anymore. That's when you see their true colors. I remember when Dave went through his own crisis. Suddenly, he was Mr. Emotional Intelligence. Wanted hour-long phone calls about his feelings. Expected everyone to drop everything for him. And if you didn't? Oh boy. You were heartless and unsupportive. The irony was completely lost on him. Let's talk about those puppet masters next. The ones who think they're directing your life story. They're subtle at first. So subtle you might miss the strings they're attaching. I had this friend, Alexandra, we called her Alex. She was the queen of emotional manipulation. Everything was a transaction with her. I helped you move last month, so you owe me. I kept your secret, so now you have to do this for me. Always keeping score. Always collecting debts. But here's the thing about these control freaks. They don't just want to control actions. They want to control emotions. They want to control relationships. They want to control everything. Alex would get mad if people made plans without her. "Oh, I see how it is. I guess I'm not important enough to invite. I thought we were closer than that." Classic guilt trip tactics. And it worked, for a while. People would include her in everything. Just to avoid the drama. Just to keep the peace. But that's not friendship. That's hostage negotiation. These people are emotional terrorists. They use fear, guilt, and manipulation as weapons. And they're experts at making you feel crazy. Like you're the unreasonable one. Like you're the one with the problem. When you start setting boundaries, they panic. When you start saying no, they escalate. When you start breaking free, they show their true colors. I remember when I finally stood up to Alex. Told her I couldn't make it to one of her events. You'd think I'd just declared war. The texts. The calls. The social media posts about fake friends. The mutual friends she tried to turn against me. It was like watching a master manipulator have a meltdown. Because that's what happens when puppet masters lose control. They can't handle it. They don't know how to function. Without their strings to pull. Without their power to wield. They're just empty people. Trying to fill themselves with control over others. But here's what you need to remember. You're not a puppet. You're not a character in their story. You're the main character in your own life. And you get to choose who has access to your stage. The people who try to control you. They're afraid of losing their power. But that's not your problem. Their insecurity is not your responsibility. Their need for control is not your burden to bear. You don't owe anyone your autonomy. You don't owe anyone your freedom. You don't owe anyone your peace of mind. So when you spot these puppet masters, when you feel those strings, cut them. Cut them all. Don't explain. Don't justify. Just cut. Because true friendship doesn't come with strings attached. True love doesn't require control. True relationships don't need manipulation. They thrive on freedom. They grow with trust. They flourish with independence. Remember this. If someone makes you feel guilty for having boundaries. If someone punishes you for saying no. If someone tries to control who you see and what you do. That's not love. That's not friendship. That's not even respect. That's abuse. And you deserve so much better. You deserve relationships that lift you up. Not tie you down. You deserve people who celebrate your independence. Not try to crush it. You deserve connections that make you feel free. Not trapped. So stand tall. Cut those strings. And watch how high you can fly. Without their weight holding you down. Without their control limiting you. Without their manipulation defining you. Because that's what freedom feels like. That's what healthy relationships look like. That's what you deserve. And don't let anyone tell you different. Don't let anyone make you doubt yourself. Don't let anyone control your story. You're the author of your life. Not their puppet. Not their project. Not their possession. Just you. Free and whole and powerful. Exactly as you should be. Now let's talk about those, just joking, bullies. You know them, the ones who love to cross lines. Then hit you with that classic line. Can't you take a joke? Why are you so sensitive? I was just kidding. Let me tell you about Mike. Mike was the office comedian. Always ready with a funny comment. Always pushing boundaries. Always testing limits. He'd make comments about people's appearances. Their relationships. Their insecurities. And when someone got upset. Lighten up. It's just a joke. But here's the truth about these jokesters. They're not funny. They're not clever. They're bullies with a better PR team. See, real jokes make everyone laugh. Real humor brings people together. Real comedy doesn't need a victim. But these people. They use humor as a weapon. As a shield. As an excuse. I watched Mike destroy Sarah's confidence. One joke at a time. About her weight. About her voice. About her dreams. Until she stopped speaking up in meetings. Until she ate lunch alone. Until she finally quit. And Mike's response? She just couldn't take a joke. No, Mike. She just couldn't take the abuse. Because that's what it is. Abuse in disguise. Cruelty with a laugh track. Bullying with plausible deniability. These people are testing your boundaries. Seeing what they can get away with. Pushing a little further each time. And when you finally stand up for yourself, they make you the problem. They turn others against you. Look how sensitive they are. Can't even take a joke. Everyone else thinks it's funny. But here's what you need to remember. Your feelings are valid. Your boundaries are important. Your comfort matters. If something feels wrong, it is wrong. If something hurts you, it's not funny. If someone makes you uncomfortable, trust that feeling. Don't let them gaslight you. Don't let them minimize your feelings. Don't let them rewrite your reality. Now, let's talk about those spotlight stealers. The ones who can't stand to see anyone else shine. You know the type. You're sharing your big news. Your proud moment. Your happy achievement. And they just can't help themselves. Oh, that reminds me of when well, actually, I did something even better. That's nice, but listen to what happened to me. I had this friend, Rachel. Every single time I had good news. Every single time. She'd find a way to make it about her. Got a promotion? Oh, that's cute. I actually got offered 3 jobs last month. Ran a marathon? Yeah, I did an ultramarathon. In the desert. Barefoot. Got engaged. That's nice. My ex proposed to me twice. It's exhausting. It's frustrating. It's toxic. These people are so insecure. They can't handle anyone else's success. They can't share the spotlight. Even for a moment. Even with friends. Even with family. They're like emotional vampires. But instead of blood, they feed on attention. On recognition. On validation. And they'll drain you dry. If you let them. But here's the thing. Your moments matter. Your achievements deserve celebration. Your joy deserves space. Don't let them steal that from you. Don't let them diminish your light. Don't let them rewrite your story. When someone tries to steal your spotlight. When they try to one-up your success. When they try to overshadow your joy. Remember this. Their behavior reflects their insecurity. Not your worth. Their need for attention shows their emptiness. Not your insignificance. Their constant competition reveals their fear. Not your inadequacy. You don't need to compete. You don't need to prove yourself. You don't need their validation. Your light shines bright enough on its own. Your success speaks for itself. Your joy is complete without their approval. So the next time someone tries to steal your moment. The next time they try to hijack your story. The next time they try to overshadow your success. Just smile. And keep shining. Because that's what really drives them crazy. Your unshakable confidence. Your unwavering joy. Your unstoppable light. They can try to steal the spotlight. But they can't steal your glow. They can try to overshadow your success. But they can't dim your shine. They can try to make it about them. But they can't change your story. Because your story is yours to tell. Your light is yours to shine. Your success is yours to celebrate. And no one can take that from you. Unless you let them. So don't. Don't give them that power. Don't give them that satisfaction. Don't give them that control. Keep celebrating your wins. Keep sharing your joy. Keep shining your light. Because the world needs your light. The world needs your story. The world needs your success. And those who try to steal it, they're just showing you who they really are. Believe them. And then let them go. Because you deserve people who celebrate with you. Not compete against you. You deserve people who amplify your light. Not try to dim it. You deserve people who add to your story. Not try to rewrite it. So choose those people. Keep those people close. And let the spotlight stealers perform their show somewhere else. Because your stage. It's not for them. It's for you. And for those who truly celebrate you. End.